Hope everybody is safe and healthy, and I don't know what the fuck's going on in the world right now, but it's I don't know. Anyway, so I am happy to be here with you and to be able to share this time with everybody. It seems to be like the most sane part of my days right now, is getting to be here with you. So we will start in a seated position this morning. Any comfortable seated position. And close the eyes, take a few breaths here just to check in with where the weight of the body meets the floor. And check in with the breath. And keep the front of the body long, yogis, and tuck the chin just slightly. And begin to lengthen both sides of the breath. And we'll start here with mudra and pranayama. This is our nerve strength mudra practice that we do on occasion. So for the women, start with your right hand in Buddhi Mudra with your pinky finger and thumb touching, and you want to get it just at the navel, maybe just a little bit above it, so that when you exhale, that hand's going to push in and up right along with your diaphragm. When you exhale, make sure the chest lifts. For the men here, it's going to be the opposite hand. Bring your left hand to Buddhi Mudra, and it's that same thing. So you really want to emphasize, just like we did with Kapalabhati last week, you want to emphasize the chest lifting on an exhale rather than dropping down like this, right? Like that. So that's really a key element of this practice. The other hand is going to be in Shuni Mudra, middle finger and thumb touching. So you've got Buddhi Mudra and Shuni Mudra. Shuni Mudra, bring the elbow right in line with the shoulder and then the wrist right over that. So it's really easy to kind of end up like this. And normally in a class, I would walk around and help you, lift your elbow up a little bit and keep the palm facing forward. It's really easy to kind of end up like this with this hand. This is something I see often. Make sure that palm is facing up and this palm is facing forward. All right, so it's going to be a big, deep inhale. Let the belly be soft and allow that expansion to occur. And as you exhale, it's going to be 4 short breaths out to create 1 full exhale. And on that 4th one, you want to squeeze out that last bit of air, right? And remember, you want the chest to lift as you exhale, so it'll look and sound something like this. I'll go through a couple of rounds so you get an idea. So there's no inhale between those little breaths. It's just 1 exhale, but in 4 parts. And that last part, you really want to squeeze that last bit of air out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll do this for, I don't know how long, maybe about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, all right? So nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, there's no rush for the next inhale. I encourage you to allow some space before you take that next deep inhale. So you've got that 4th breath out. Just allow for a little bit of space right in there. This is that space. Keep going while I'm talking. This is that space between the exhale and the inhale where the mind is most calm and focused. So this benefits you in a number of ways. One is that all hands are on deck, kind of really alert, waiting. All right, when are they going to inhale? And the more you practice that space between the exhale and the inhale, the more your systems begin to trust you, that you will breathe on your terms. This is the beginning of the mind directing the breath rather than the other way around. This right now is more relevant than ever when we're heated and charged and emotions are raging and a lot is going on in the world. So now we teach the nervous system that we are in charge of this, and we can feel charged emotionally and still act from a place of compassion and pragmatism rather than heated, charged. What's happening here is violence in our city and all over the country, all right? So keep going. Allow that space to lengthen between the exhale and the inhale. This is important. And let the belly be soft. When I work with students, one of the hardest things is to teach the chest how to lift up as you exhale. Same in Kapala body practice that we do. It's kind of an opposite action that we have when we exhale. Usually we inhale like this and then exhale like this. So now we're going to inhale. All right. Keep going. There's about 1 more minute. Nice strong exhales, 4 strong exhales. Squeeze out that last bit of air, lots of space before the next inhale, and then allow the lower part of the belly and the ribs to expand. So we start to teach that breath to go down into the lowest part of the lungs. The lungs aren't just right up here. The lungs are kind of big, spongy things, all right? So we want to take that breath all the way down into the lowest part and then use that lowest part to push air out. Stay with it. Take about 6 more breaths. Check that arm that's out to the side. Make sure everything's in a 90-degree angle. Then keep your hands in these mudras, yogis. Slide the backs of the hands down the knees and tuck the chin gently. And come back to a natural breath here. And then slowly begin to bring your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, as if gathering all of your resources into your heart center. We'll chant 1 Om. Take a deep inhale. Namaste, yogis. Nice work. Let's go ahead and start in child's pose here. And direct that attention again to where the weight of the body meets the floor and start pushing down into the floor actively. Reach out through the fingertips. Walk the hands on over to the right side. Get lots of length on one side, really awesome compression on the other side. And breathe the same way. Walk the hands back to center and on over to the other side. And walk the hands back to center, yogis. Keep the hands shoulder width apart. Start to push down through the shins. Pop that torso forward. Lean out past the wrists a little bit. Sink the hips back to the heels. Push and lean and bring the gaze forward. And don't even think about the breath yet. The breath is secondary. Let's figure out the body parts first and develop that downward current. Push and lean and bring the gaze forward. Inhale now. And then sink the hips. Exhale now. Look at that nice long pause in between each side of the breath. Push and lean and inhale. Sink the hips and exhale. Push and wonder how you got here and inhale. And exhale now. Wonder how you got into tabletop, not here on the planet. This time, exhale, bring the chin and chest in between the hands, pull back a little bit. Hold on. Got it, Avi. Sorry, this mosquito. Where were we? Exhale. Pull the torso forward. And inhale, maybe lift the thighs up here, but we're going to come into child's pose a couple more times. Sorry, guys. Ahimsa, I just killed a mosquito. Push and inhale now. Exhale. Inhale. Oh my God, and it's not actually dead, so now it's suffering. Exhale. Shit. My teacher would say, when you killed a mosquito or something like this, he would say, I am liberating you. What? It's right here. Come here. Can you come here and get something? And grab it. And exhale to down dog. This is like some really epic moments in this class this morning. Sorry, mosquito. A call, a call, a call. So here we are in down dog. You can start to move the hips side to side. Walk in place a little bit. I'm sorry, after being severely ill for a year from dengue fever from a mosquito, I really feel like I have to stand up for myself. It's, so he's right here, and that's your blood, I think. Sorry, mosquito.
Me twice.
All right, you guys, I'm really sorry. Let me focus here. Take one leg up behind you at a time. Hopefully you're just in your practice, not listening to my nonsense. Start to walk the hands back to meet the feet here. You can bend the knees as much as you need to, maybe cross the arms. And breathe the same way. Space between each side. And then go ahead and plant the hands shoulder width apart, lift high up onto the toes, kind of scoop that belly, get the knees on the backs of the arms, keep the gaze forward, yogis,
Pull the thighs together and pull your feet up to your buns. Same breath here. And bring the feet back down, hip width apart. Walk the hands toward the front of the mat. And start to walk the feet up to meet the hands. You can keep the feet hip width apart or bring the toes together, get some space between the heels. So you've got this internal rotation, and then start to push the shins away from each other. This gives you this immediate sense of grounding through all four corners of the feet. Start to push and roll on up to standing one vertebra at a time. We'll meet up here in Tadasana. Push. You can lift the toes up, get some space between the toes, and then set them down naturally. And then push and start to lift the arches. Just let that upward current do all of the work for you. Push more and draw energy up and lift the thighs and lift up through the inner thighs. All that pushing and lifting, yogis, will lift the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. You can draw the low belly in and up just a little bit. And how about that same breath here where the ribs can expand out to the sides and there's no rush. Press the palms together actively so that you create space in the armpit area. We'll go through a few rounds of Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, bring the gaze forward. Plant the hands, step and float or hop back to maybe Chaturanga Dandasana or onto the belly. You know I love this because I want your hands right by your waist. Inhale, reach through the heart center. And exhale, lift the hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take the heels apart just enough so that they're out of view here. Lift the pelvic floor and reach through the sit bones. And your shoulder girdle will find its way. The more you reach and lift, and your shoulders will figure out what the best position is for them. Me personally, I like my head on the floor. Totally up to you. On the next inhale, bring the gaze forward. You can hop or awkwardly walk up like I do, or maybe float up. Finish that inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, come on up to vertical, reach up overhead. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, draw the low belly in and up. Inhale, bring the gaze forward. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Breathe. On the next inhale, bring the gaze forward, yogis. Lift the hips nice and high, float the feet up, land softly. Finish that inhale. Exhale, start to use the belly to pull the torso in closer to the legs. Push and inhale, come on up to vertical, press the palms together actively.
And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Keep the gaze forward, yogis. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale. And exhale. On the next inhale, yogis, bring the gaze forward, float the feet up, land softly, finish that inhale. Exhale. Inhale back up to vertical. Exhale. 2 more Surya Namaskar A yogis. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lift. On the next inhale, yogis, bring the gaze forward. Float the feet up. I keep thinking that I'm going to do it, and then I don't. Exhale. Push and inhale. Exhale. Inhale, push through the feet. Exhale, create lots of space between the hips and the ribs. Inhale, lengthen, keep the gaze forward. Exhale. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, lift the hips. On the next inhale, bring the gaze forward. Lift the hips nice and high, maybe all the way up to your handstand here, yogis. Land softly. Exhale, Uttanasana. Push and inhale, come on up naturally. And exhale. Take a couple of breaths here. Check in with the effects of your sun salutations practice. Maybe check in with your breath and with the beat of your heart. So I want to work on our jump backs and jumping forward. This is kind of a fun technique to get you landing softly on both sides and rather than being attached to the final outcome, figuring out where the starting point is, and that'll help you to progress in that particular practice. So we'll meet up in down dog however you care to get there. All right, you can just take a vinyasa if you like, or just step back to down dog. All right, so from your down dog, what you want to do is practice landing only as far forward as you can, landing landing softly and with straight legs. All right, so that's the first part of this. You can bend your knees here. Keep the gaze forward though. Don't ever look at your feet. Keep the gaze forward, bend and lift. And only land as far forward as you can with the legs straight, all right? So, oh, that's awesome. So right about, that's about how close I'm getting my feet right now. My mic turned off, and that was some of the most profound things I've ever said in a class, and I can't remember what I said. No, really. Welcome to my shit show today, guys. Okay, so basically what I was saying was it's better than jumping all the way forward and the knees bending and then futzing around with the feet. This is going to give you that progression that you really want to be able to jump forward and land softly with straight legs. You see people do it, floating forward. All right, so this is how you're going to start it. Trust me. Keep the gaze forward. Don't look at your feet. Bend the knees. Think about lifting your hips high. All right? And then we're and then what's going to happen is, oh my God. And then what's going to happen is you're going to, from where you land, hopefully it's a bunch of people that have done this with me before, and you guys are going to be very forgiving right now. I don't know what maybe it'll be better back here. So now I've landed here, and this is where you want to start for going back to Chaturanga, but you do not get to bend your knees here. Now you have to lean forward and push the feet back with straight legs, all right? This is how your jump backs are going to start to happen. I'm really nervous about this right now. All right? So you don't get to bend your knees here. You have to lift way up on your toes, lean forward. This is why I emphasize that in that child's pose little sequence that we do, that little mini sun salutation, is to teach the shoulders to go past the wrists, because this is the only way you're going to push these feet back with straight legs. Okay? And then you want to land with your hands right by your waist. So do that a couple of times. This should have like a little flap over it with like a little Velcro piece or something. Okay. So I'm going to keep the gaze forward, bend the knees a lot, lift the hips a lot. Land with straight legs. I am not very close to my hands here. Doesn't even if you land here, it's perfectly fine. Keep the gaze forward, lean into it. And then you just kind of push your feet back, all right? So do it a couple more times. If you have questions about this, here's what I want you guys to do. Take a video of you doing this and send them to me. And then I will help you in wherever you are in this practice, okay? And we'll start to slowly bring it all together so that the dynamics of it start to do all the work for you, all right? So you're going to just focus on your butt. Lift your hips nice and high, and then let your feet land softly. This is the key here. Straight legs, no cheating, and softly. And from that point, that's where you're going to lean forward and push your feet back. And then it will start to come together for you. And you love it, too. This is an important part of your practice. Okay.
So hopefully you've done that enough. Okay. So from your down dog yogis, let's go ahead and hop forward and just like we've been doing, and then lift. So if I'm in down dog, this is as far forward as I'm getting, I can just magically lift up onto my toes, and I'm going to come right into Bakasana here. So pull the thighs together and pull your feet up toward your buns and keep the gaze forward. And breathe softly. And take a vinyasa. And inhale, let's do that again. Float forward. I don't know what's happening today. It needs a little Velcro. Yeah. And exhale, take a vinyasa. Nice work, you guys. And inhale, float forward. Let's come right back into Bakasana. So in Bakasana, my back's actually feeling a little bit better, so I've been able to get my hands a little bit closer today. Really scoop that belly, pull the thighs toward each other, and then pull the feet up to your buns. So you're pulling and lifting, and push through the heels of the palms. Push and pull and lift. That's what's going to happen today. So go ahead and float back, take a vinyasa, all right? Nice work, you guys. All right, from your down dog, inhale forward to a plank position and open up to Vashisthasana. So you can do any modification that you want or take a leg up. We'll do this a couple of times today, all right? Use the bandhas. Create that space in the armpit area. And on the next exhale, right into Chaturanga. Inhale. And exhale, down dog. Inhale forward. And open up to Vashisthasana on the other side. Use the bandhas, lift those hips. Keep the legs active. And then bring that right foot forward. Go into the outer edge of the back foot and inhale, warrior two. Push down through both feet. And same space in the armpit area. Bring the gaze just to the tip of the front fingers, not out past it. It's like you create this little bubble over you. That your little practice bubble. On the next exhale, bring the elbow to the knee, or bring the hand all the way to the mat, Utthita Parshva. So if you have your hand on your mat, you could bring it to the inside or the outside, push the knee into the arm, either way. Use the back leg more and lift the pelvic floor more. And bring the arm to the inside of the front leg and get a clasp behind the back. Baddha Parshva Konasana. And keep the clasp and just scoot that back foot up a little bit and straighten the front leg. Bound triangle, Baddha Trikonasana. This mic is like impaling my liver. Okay. Right, yogis, keep that clasp and scoot the back foot up all the way up to the front of the mat. And you can stay here, there's lots to do here, or you can start to push through the left foot and inhale all the way up into that standing balance. With a clasp behind the back. Hold on to that leg. It doesn't matter if you ever straighten that leg. Do it better than I'm doing it right now. Keep the knee bent. Whatever it takes to keep the front of the body long, that's what's important, not straightening this leg. And then bring that foot back down, yogis. Stay with that clasp. Push and inhale right back up. And exhale, bring that foot down, keep the clasp, step back, right back into Baddha Konasana. Ouch. Bring the gaze to the toes, yogis. Start to shove that shoulder all the way under the knee. Lean back, take that hand way back, scoop that belly, and create a little shelf for the leg, all right? Well, you've had that knee pushing into the arm and the arm resisting. So start to pick this front foot up. You can straighten the leg if you like, or keep the knee bent and just focus on this new bandha right here, all right? Level out the shoulders. Lean into it and start to pick that back leg up, a Pada Vinyasa B. And then step right into a Vinyasa. Nice work, yogis. From your down dog, inhale forward to a plank position. Open up to Vashisthasana. So any leg variation you're working on is great. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale forward and open up to Vashisthasana on that right hand. Make sure the shoulder's right over the wrist, not way out here. And then bring that left foot up to the front of the mat, one to the outer edge of the back foot. Inhale. Warrior two. Good job. Next exhale, yogis, bring the elbow to the knee or bring the hand to the mat. Why am I talking so weird today? Bring the gaze up under the bicep or all the way up to the top fingers, as long as you have that nice long line from the top hand all the way down to the outer edge of the back foot. If you have the elbow on the knee, lift up out of the shoulders so you keep that same space in the armpit area.
We'll come into that bound version. Bring the arm to the inside of that leg. Might have to skip it on this side. Nice clasp behind the back. Baddha Parshva Konasana. All right. Keep that back leg active. Lift the arch more. Keep the clasp and scoot the back foot up a little bit and straighten the front leg. Baddha Trikonasana. Same breath. A little bit of space between each side. Keep that clasp, yogis. Move that back foot all the way up to the front. You can stay here. Let's see about this. Or start to push through the right foot and end up in that standing version. And breathe. And bring the foot back down to the mat, yogis. Push and inhale, come right back up. Keep that clasp. Bring the foot down. You're still in the bound version. Go ahead and start to step back to Baddha Parshva Konasana. Nice. And then release the clasp. Shove that shoulder way under the knee. Lean back so that you create a little shelf with your elbow for your leg. The important thing here is to scoop the belly and get the torso pointing toward the side of the room. That's the key to winning at Visvamitrasana. You got to turn that torso to the side. All right? And bring the arm up overhead. Straighten that leg if you like. Push the shoulder into the knee and resist back. And that will start to create this new bandha that will do all the work for you. All right? And then level out the shoulders, plant the hands, lean into it. And then take a vinyasa. Nice work, yogis. From your downward facing dog, inhale forward to a plank position and open up to Vashisthasana. So you can take that top foot way back behind you for more of a back bend version. Breathe calmly. Inhale back to Vashisthasana. And bring that bottom knee to the mat. Push and inhale, bring the torso up, and then start to slide the hand down the leg into Parigasana. Push through that shin and the top of that foot and keep this leg active. You can turn the toes out. It's just going to depend on how you're built. Or keep the toes straight ahead. Start to rotate the torso up. Push and inhale, bring the torso up, yogis. Go ahead and plant the hands. Keep that left leg lifted, reach back with the opposite hand right into Vyagrasana. Kick more. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, Chaturanga. Nice work. Inhale forward. Open up to Vashisthasana on the left hand. Take that top foot way back behind you. Nice. Inhale back to Vashisthasana, no flinging. And then bring that bottom knee to the mat. Push and inhale the torso up. And then start to slide the hand down the leg. Parigasana. Push, keep everything active. Always pushing down and drawing energy up. You can start to rotate the torso up. Push more through the shin and the top of that foot. Yogis, push and inhale, bring the torso up. Go ahead and pivot, plant the hands. Keep that right leg lifted, reach back with the other hand. Vyagrasana. And inhale. Plant the hands, exhale. Inhale, reach. And exhale, lift. All right, nice work, yogis. Let's go ahead and work on some inversions. So we did lots of inversions this week. And so handstand, forearm balance, or headstand. Totally up to you, all right? But I'll go through a few things with you. So if you are working at walking the feet up the wall in any of those, hopefully you were here yesterday and we went through lots of different options. But always think about where can you push down and what is that going to lift up. So this is important. It's just to start to think about how you can investigate these poses on your own. So there are a million techniques and there are a million different things that people are going to say to do a pose, but you really have to start figuring this stuff out by pushing and understanding the dynamics of it within your own practice, all right? So wherever you can push down, wherever you can, whatever that push begins to lift up, that's going to be that trajectory that you want to find in your inversion practice or really any pose. So it's a push and an inhale, and just check out what happens rather than being attached to some vision of a final outcome, right? Just push and inhale and see what starts happening. Okay, so if you're in your handstand practice, take a foot up, push through the top foot and lift the hips. And start to push through the heels of the palm here. Push and inhale. Do the same thing in Pinchamayurasana. Push and inhale. Do the same thing in Shirshasana. Push and inhale. Just just like child's pose to tabletop. Oh my God. Just like warrior, just like from down dog to warrior one, you're going to push and inhale. Something's going to lift up. And I just knocked myself over by hitting the wall with my butt. All right, so just keep working on whatever inversion you're in, okay? This will all be over soon. If you're working on kicking up at the wall in handstand or Pinchamayurasana, then use the wall effectively. Always have one foot reaching up, straight up, so that you're teaching that leg how to be engaged in the practice. So it's really all going to be about not just upper body strength. And this theory of stacking bones is a myth. That's not really how it works. Our bones are like our bones are floating essentially in this kind of web of soft tissue. So you don't want to think about really stacking things. Think about the dynamics and where can you push and inhale and engage and lift and all of these other elements that are going to be far more interesting, right? Think tensegrity versus stacking. So if you are using the wall for your handstand, use one leg to keep you in your balance, so you start to increase your strength and endurance here. If you're always just trying to tappity tap and balance and then coming on down, then you don't really increase the strength and endurance in the shoulder girdle or even in your concentration. Keep one leg active. You can switch. Really energize the legs. Okay? Same thing in Pinchamayurasana, same thing in headstand. So you're still upside down, okay? So another myth about inversions is that you need core strength to do it. That's a myth. In fact, you want to relax the psoas muscles when you're in an inversion. It's all about pushing and reaching, not tensing the abdominal muscles. Can you imagine that? Well, it's true. Just ask my friend Yuval. Go to Yuval on Hands on Instagram, or Kyle Wieger, these great handstand coaches out there that will say the same thing. It is not about core strength. It is a very different process and not just energizing the core, because a lot of students will say to me, oh, I don't have very good core strength, I can't do a handstand. You teach yourself how to do a handstand by doing a handstand, not by doing upper body strength training and core strength training and legs and then expecting to do a handstand. All right. Thanks for putting up with me, you guys. So here in my headstand, all I want to do is push through the forearms more and energize the legs. Reach up through you can point your toes, reach up through the toes or the balls of the feet. This doesn't look so good. It's all about how you look, not how you feel. But if you start tensing your abdominal muscles, it's a very different process. Relax the psoas muscles. Push, keep the shoulders up, and keep the legs active. Okay, so let's stay upside down for 3 more minutes in whatever inversion you're in. It's Friday, work hard. If there are arm variations you're working on or any leg variations, go for it. We were working on doing the splits in some of our inversions. this week. That's always fun to start working on. We'll get into our back bend practice after this, so if you want to start working on those drop overs from your inversions, we'll spend a little bit of time on that today too, okay? So it's really important to me that you guys understand that even if you aren't in like this perfect handstand or in perfect forearm balance or perfect headstand, that the idea, what I hear students say is, oh, well, I can't. But we have to find what you can do, find out where you can start and where the legs are, and whether you're in the middle of the room or whatever, it doesn't define these inversions. So we want to talk about really what defines these shapes, headstand, forearm balance, or handstand, and figure out where can you start. And then that's where you're going to progress from. And just let go of all that other shit you see on Instagram.
Okay. Even if you have both feet on the mat, what defines a headstand? This shape up here. I'm on my head.
Okay, these last few breaths, wherever you are. And then let's go ahead and just move into some practice from our inversions going into back bends, all right? So if you like shoulder stand, which some people do, then you can always practice coming into bridge pose from shoulder stand. I recommend one leg at a time, please, all right? So if you are in your handstand practice and you want to work on dropping over from your handstand or even getting splits, which is a big old back bend, all right? Kind of. Then the key here is to move further away from the wall than you normally would. And start getting the feet wider. Or you can just start to walk the feet down. Let me move a little bit further away. And get that foot all the way down. Keep this top foot up here because that's what's going to push you. All right? You can do the same thing in forearm balance. You can do the same thing in headstand. In a headstand, if you're working on it, it's cool because when you are in a headstand and you drop your feet over into a back bend, that's called Viparita Dandasana, and you would always come into it from dropping over from a headstand, not going into back bend and then coming onto the head and interlacing the hands. This is an important distinction. All right, so you can do it in your headstand or take a foot all the way down. And then use this top foot to teach your hips how to lift up and how to get out of this. You want to start to pull on the back of the head, and that's going to pull you up. Okay. I'm concerned about my shirt right now because you will see that I have a total farmer tan. It's really just my arms that are tan. Okay. So keep working on that for another minute, whatever drop over you're working on. These are really fun, and this is a great way to do it. This is the best way to learn how to do it, rather than just hoping for the best and dropping over in the middle of the room. All right? Because then you also are teaching the body that you're doing it on your terms, not just because you're falling, and you're also teaching yourself how to get out of it. Okay? And then we'll meet up on the back. can jump through. Exhale, lie on the back. It's like the best class ever. Keep the feet hip width apart. And you can come into bridge pose or upward bow pose. Push through the feet and inhale. And exhale, come on down. Take a 1 breath rest, and then let's do 3 more rounds at your own pace, bridge pose or upward bow pose, all right? 5 breaths each round with a 1 breath rest in between. Nice work, yogis. You can take a backward rollout or bring the knees up to the chest and roll on up and take a vinyasa. We'll meet up in down dog. From your down dog, yogis, inhale, jump through. As we jump through, you're going to bend the right knee and bring your foot right next to your hip. Better than that. Keep this knee bent. So this is Vinyasa E. Make sure you've got space between the foot and the inner thigh so it's not all jammed in here, okay? And then bring the arm to the inside, push. Your buns, both of your buns can lift up. Push through the top of this foot and the shin more. So I've got lots of space between my foot and my inner thigh. And you definitely want your left butt cheek higher up off the floor than your right butt cheek. But maybe you can do it with your right butt cheek on the floor. How many times can I say butt cheek in a sentence? Vinyasa E. So squeeze that knee, resist back with the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Go ahead and release the clasp, lean back, draw the belly in, and twist toward that top knee. Vinyasa F. So you can get a clasp behind the back. Bring the gaze over the back shoulder. But that might compromise the twist. You can also hold on to that knee
or you can bring the hand up in Gyan Mudra. If you do, make sure you push the knee into the arm and resist back with the arm. So you've always got these opportunities to create that new lock. Inhale, bring the gaze back to center, yogis. Release the twist, straighten that leg, and come on into a forward fold. Triyanga Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. Same breath. Inhale, lengthen. All right, let's do that jump back. So you're going to jump off the top of this foot, all right? So lean forward, push. Nice work. Let's do that on the other side. Inhale, jump through. Can she do it? All right, bend that left knee so the heel's alongside the hip, and then this right foot, you've got to keep lots of space in here. So coming into a forward fold, I'm going to lift up a little bit higher and get a clasp behind the back. So make sure your right butt cheek is up higher than your left one. Squeeze this leg, resist back with the leg. What's the name of this pose, yogis? Marichasana E, you got it. Mula Bandha even here. Inhale, lengthen. Release the clasp. Lean back, draw that belly in, and then push your way up into Marichasana F. So any variation you're working on with the arm, a clasp behind the back, or just holding onto the knee, or your elbow here. But as long as you aren't just kind of sinking down into this, create some resistance wherever you can. Push through the top of the left foot and through the bottom of the right. Inhale, bring the gaze back to center, yogis. Release a twist, straighten that leg, and come on into a forward fold. Triyanga Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. Inhale, lengthen, jump off the top of that foot. Better than me. Nice work, yogis. Inhale, jump through. Exhale, lie on the back for Shavasana. Take a deep inhale. Let everything go.
Slowly begin to bring the awareness back into the body. And begin to deepen the breath and take charge of the breath once again. Start to move fingers and toes. Circle the ankles and wrists. Roll the arms and legs in and out. And turn the head to one side and then the other. Take a big stretch up overhead, yogis, and stretch in whatever way feels natural for you. Hug the knees to the chest and roll all the way over onto your left side. And then all the way over onto your right side. Come on up to a seated position and keep the eyes closed. Bring your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, where we connect our everyday self with our infinite self. And we'll chant one Om. Om.